Okay, so this is for, shoot, I can't think now, but you know who you are, who asked me to talk about what I'm going to do with them. Well, here they are, and I will explain them to you very quickly while I have some privacy because I'm very shy. But first off, I have had experience with some of these, so I kind of already have a sense of what their culture is, or not their culture, but what their native environment is. So the first thing that I would do is research before you even get the plant, or before you order it, research it to see if it's a warm grower, or if it's, I shouldn't say warm grower, if it is temperature tolerant for your environment. And if that is the case, then I would say go for it and do more research on what the plant, how it grows in nature, whether it's a sea level plant or whether it's a cloud forest plant, whether it grows at the base of the plant in the mossy detriment or the mossy, tree fibers of the ferns, or whether or not it grows on long streams and riverbeds and grows high in trees, or whether or not they are at the base of a plant, or whether or not they grow in the nooks of the trees, the branches. The nook meaning this area where the mosses and ferns and other roughage and matter, organic matter collect, and that's where these roots get their home and their nutrients. So you better not walk this way if you don't want to go on camera. So you're gonna embarrass me and make me talk in front of you. Anyway, I'll just keep talking. This is gonna be fast. So that's what I do. You do your research. And if you're not really, I don't have sphagnum moss. I do, but it's in the greenhouse. But I've been using cocoa husk for moisture loving plants like Rodriguezias, the Gongoras, epidendrums even, and the maxillarias. They like a lot of moisture. So I have got them in cocoa husk instead of sphagnum moss. Roots like it. It retains moisture and has a firmness to it. Does drain. And what I did with the Lophariuses, or the trichocentrums, which is what I call them, the mule ear, they're all mule ear. Well, there is one rat tail, which is not a trichocentrum, but it is Scutocardia. I have to show you that one in a minute. But all I did was take them out of the paper and loosen the roots up. I soaked them in warm water for about 30 minutes so that the roots could be malleable and moved. And then I just wrapped it around this tree fern mount. This one's on a piece of wood with the same moss that it came with. And I have this trichocentrum, which is Monet something. And I just put it in cocoa husk. Didn't want to mount it. Here is my Vespa in cocoa husk. This is in Phalaenopsis mix, my Galeandra. This grows more like a catasetum, so it has more moisture and more moisture retentive and more aerated. The little beads like a bark and perlite. Of course, Rodriguezia, they love moisture. And then over here, the epidendrum that I pointed out, Pruniferum. You can see that speck that is at the shadow. And there's a sheath. Every growth has a sheath. No, that's still growing, but Anyhow, you see what I've done. Mostly cocoa husk and my Phalaenopsis mixture, which is, this is more of a terrestrial. This is my Areopsis biloba. So, okay, I'm gonna run on down and show that last one. Be right back. Okay, and we are in the laundry room, and the most important one, and to me, the rarest one of all, even more rare than that Areopsis, is the Scudicaria, which I have the tag in my pocket. Peruviana. I will have to put the date on it, but what I did with this orchid was, I know that these like moist, and they like decent light, and they like high humidity. They like a bit of shade, not full on sun. So what I did was, I knew that I was gonna mount it so that it would be pendant, and what I did was I glued a piece of the tree fern here onto this mount, and then just sat the plant directly on top of the tree fern and put the sphagnum moss over the root that it came with, and then just wrapped it with a couple pieces of string, and that's it. Hope for the best. I did give it a good soak before I mounted it, like I said, to make the roots a bit more malleable, to get them to move around and latch themselves to that piece of tree fern, which will benefit them, and that's kind of what they grow on in the wild. But I am just so amazed at the length of this plant, how big it is. This is one thing off the topic that I'm really excited about. I got this from Ecuador, and this is a Stanhopeia Londa Tubatia odoratissima, and this is a Stanhopeia type. Both of them are, I mentioned before. I think this is spiking. If I can point them out, that is a new growth. But back in there, that looks like it could be a spike. Maybe. Maybe this one right here looks like it could be a spike. You will see, that would be amazing. But anyway, it sits here, gets nice high humidity, a bit of water. Anyhow, I'll show you this next, but I am off topic. This is what I came down here for. Thanks for watching. Hopefully this helps.